There are very few diagnoses that carry the same kind of emotional weight as Alzheimer's disease. For millions of us, it's a term that speaks directly to our deepest fears about who we are and what we might lose. So today, we're going to peel back the layers on both the science and the soul of this condition.
For anyone who's been touched by Alzheimer's, the experience is often described just like this, like you're trying to navigate a slow-moving fog. It's a journey where all those familiar paths of memory and thought, they just get harder and harder to find. But here's the thing. The whole point of this explainer is to bring some clarity, not to add to the fear. Because if we can understand what's really happening on a biological level, we can better appreciate the human experience and hopefully connect through compassion and knowledge instead.
All right, first up, let's just acknowledge the profound emotional impact, the very real fears that come hand in hand with an Alzheimer's diagnosis. I mean, it really taps into these core human fears, doesn't it? The fear that our most cherished memories could just fade away, the fear of losing our ability to care for ourselves, and maybe the most profound fear of all, losing the very essence of our own identity. Understanding this is really the first step in navigating these feelings. Okay, so now let's zoom way, way in to understand the silent storm that's taking place inside the brain. To really get what's going on, let's use a metaphor. Just imagine the brain as this incredible, bustling city where trillions of nerve cells, or neurons, are constantly firing messages back and forth. This amazing communication network, it's the foundation of every single thought, memory, and action we have. So what Alzheimer's does is it disrupts the city. It's a progressive neurodegenerative disorder, and at the very heart of the disruption, you find two key proteins that basically start to malfunction. They go rogue. The disruption is caused by two main culprits. First, you've got these beta amyloid plaques. Think of them as sticky roadblocks that build up between the neurons, just jamming up all the communication. And at the same time, you've got tau tangles forming inside the neurons, where the internal support structures collapse and twist up, causing the cells to break down from within. And these two problems together, they create this absolutely devastating feedback loop. The external roadblocks and the internal collapse mean the neurons can't communicate, they can't function, and ultimately they just can't survive. As more and more neurons die off, the brain tissue itself actually starts to physically shrink. And this is where we connect the cold, hard science to the warm, lived reality of a human being. This is how biology becomes biography. That physical shrinkage of the brain, it's called brain atrophy. It's the large-scale, tangible result of that silent, microscopic storm we were just talking about. But a scientific term like atrophy can feel kind of distant, right? So let's translate it. What does this process actually look like in a person's life, for their family, and for their story? This is where you see the direct link. When the hippocampus, the brain's memory center, is affected by atrophy, it isn't just cognitive decline. No, it's forgetting the name of a grandchild you adore. It's losing the thread of a story you've told 100 times. When the language centers are affected, it's that daily, frustrating search for a simple word, which can eventually lead to a retreat into silence. And this is why it's so crucial to remember that the person is not the disease. Their identity isn't just erased, even if their memories are harder to access. Their history, their capacity for joy and love, and the core of their personality, those things remain. So where do we find hope in the face of this challenge? Well, our final section is all about the power of connection. Now, it's true that right now there is no cure for Alzheimer's, but, and this is absolutely essential to understand, a lack of a cure does not mean a lack of hope. The focus simply shifts. The path forward becomes one of compassion. The goals are to manage the symptoms, to maximize the quality of life for the person living with the disease, and critically, to support the family and the caregivers, the unsung heroes, who navigate this journey with incredible love and resilience every single day. And connection becomes more important than ever. Because even when conversations about the past aren't really possible anymore, communication finds new ways. It's in holding a hand. It's in the shared joy of listening to a beloved piece of music. It's in the quiet comfort of a simple, shared activity. These things, they transcend words. And that really is the profound shift in perspective. The goal is no longer about trying to reclaim a past that is fading. Instead, it becomes about creating moments of peace, connection, and gentle joy right here, in the present.
So we're left with a guiding question, really a challenge for all of us. How can we learn to look past the symptoms, beyond the biology, and find new and meaningful ways to connect with the person, not just the disease?